was a hot October afternoon at a place called Condamine when a black stallion stepped off a horse float. A man led him down the ramp and handed the horse over to a young man in a black hat. The stallion suddenly lifted his head and looked around. He knew where he was. He was back where he belonged. Nonda Southern Cross, the horse they called Denzel, had spent the last 2 years standing in his paddock, watching the neighbours' old cows over the fence. After 3 years of drought and COVID, his owners decided they wanted to give him another chance. They'd driven down to visit Terry and Christine Hall at Gundawindi 6 months earlier and asked a young horseman called Will Durkin if he would ride the horse in the Triple Crown. He said yes. The very next day after he stepped off the horse float, Will Durkin rode Denzel into the camp for the famous Condamine Silver Bell Open Draft. It was the first time Durkin had ever ridden the stallion on cattle, and something special happened. They drew a tough steer, and they ran a score of 24. It would be the highest cutout score in the Condamine Silver Bell. Durkin and Denzel went into the final on a score of 178, only 2 points behind the leader, and they finished fifth in a field of 441 horses. At the Grandfather Clock Open Draft in Chinchilla, Durkin and Denzel went into the finals on equal second top score of 180 points. He ran a 23 cutout, another equal top score, and then his steer sat up on the first peg. That's camp drafting, as they say. While Denzel did not make the final of the Warwick Gold Cup after drawing an ordinary steer in the first round, it was his run in the second round on a heavy, rain-soaked surface that delighted the crowd when he scored a brilliant 91. After another long week of competition in the famous Sand Arena at Warwick, Durkin and Denzel won the Fraser's Transport Stallion Draft with scores of 90 and 91. Denzel was also equal first in the cutout with a score of 24. Denzel also placed second in the highest aggregate award for the Triple Crown, an award that is run over 9 hard, grueling rounds of the Condamine Silver Bell, the Chinchilla Grandfather Clock, and the Warwick Gold Cup. Denzel then went home to Plane Tree Farms at the end of October for the breeding season at Oakey Veterinary Hospital, and he remained there until the end of January. It gave him time to have a break, sleep under his favourite tree, and simply be a horse again. Denzel is a family horse who is much loved by his breeders and all of his family and friends. He then went back to Will Durkin. Next was Tamworth and all the prestigious Nutrien Sale Camp Draft competitions. After 3 tough rounds, Denzel won the Nutrien Open Draft against 442 of the best horses in Australia. He ran an 89 and 2 90s. He went into the rain-soaked final 2 points behind the lead and took his black heifer fast across an arena that was shimmering like glass and ran a 90 to finish 2 points ahead. It was, however, his second run at Tamworth in the Dalgety Stallion Shootout, when he ran another scorching 90 that really lit up the crowd because it showed so much of his brilliant speed and control. In the Stallion Shootout final that followed in the big indoor arena, Denzel held the crowd spellbound when he ran another 24 cutout. He was equal first with one stylish Pepto, the old cutout legend himself. The Nutrien Committee then asked Will Durkin and Mark Buttsworth if they would challenge each other one more time just for the entertainment of the crowd. One stylish Pepto struck trouble with his cattle, and Denzel won again, this time on a score of 23. But when the drafts are finally over and the crowds have all gone home, it is the statistics that truly capture the true magnitude of Denzel's remarkable performance in the 4 short months after he returned to the Camp Draft Arena. There's a belief right around the world that great stallions come from great families. Denzel comes from a family of Australian stock horses bred by the Brown family at Nonda Downs Station in northwest Queensland. It's an old station family that was started by N.H. Brown in 1923, and he later handed his station mares over to his son, Reg Brown, in 1953.
Reg then handed over the family of station mares to his daughter, Heather,
in 1973 when she was still only a teenager. Heather brought the family south with her when she left the north in 1986, and she kept her horses on the farms of various friends for 15 years. Since 2001, they've been based at Plaintree Farms on the Darling Downs, where Heather resides with her husband, Dr. David Pascoe. Denzel is by the champion sire Acres Destiny from Nonda Happy Ever After, a daughter of the legendary Docs Freckles Oak. Happy Ever After is from Nonda Nightbird, a daughter of the studbook thoroughbred stallion Skywatch, and she was from Nonda's finest old station family. Happy's full sister, Nonda All Night Long, is the dam of Nonda One Dark Night, better known as Darky, ridden by Tony Hick. Darky won the ACA Superquest in 2004, the top 10 at Alpha in 2008, and 14 open drafts by the time he was 12. Another half-sister to Happy was Nonda Sweet Dreams, who produced the 2000 Warwick Gold Cup winner Nonda Let's Talk Later, ridden by Terry Hall. Nonda Let's Talk Later was also an NCHA Futurity finalist and an NCHA Derby finalist, who placed second in the novice at the NCHA National Finals. In fact, Nonda Let's Talk Later is still the only horse in Australia to ever reach the pinnacle of both cutting and camp drafting. Denzel's breeders and owners, Dr. David and Heather Pascoe, believe that his contribution to the Australian breeding industry will be even greater than his success in the arena. They hope that people can breed the kind of horses that will give them as much pleasure as Denzel has given them. Some of the best mares in camp drafting have bred to Denzel, and so many legendary names and successful breeders have already booked in their best mares for this coming breeding season as well. In fact, it would seem as if the story of the horse they call Denzel has only just begun.